My beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment. There is a reason your eyes landed here at this exact time. You could have been anywhere else, doing anything else, yet somehow this message found you. That is not something to ignore. Quiet your thoughts for a little while, because what you are about to hear is not meant to fill your heart with fear, it is meant to fill it with wisdom. Stay with me until the end, because every sentence is building toward something your heart has been searching for without even realizing it. For many days you have felt something you could not explain. Nothing around you looked completely wrong, yet nothing felt completely right. You smiled when people expected you to smile, but deep inside there was a question you never found the courage to ask aloud. Why has everything felt so unusually heavy? Why have simple things required so much strength? Why have certain doors remained closed even after your prayers? My child, you have not imagined those feelings. Your spirit has been sensing what your eyes could not yet recognize. Listen carefully, because this is important. Not every battle announces itself with loud voices. Some begin in whispers. Some begin with unnoticed moments. Some begin with smiles that hide different intentions. The greatest distractions rarely arrive looking like enemies. They arrive looking ordinary. They blend into routines. They hide inside conversations that seem harmless. They disguise themselves as coincidence. Yet I have seen every moment, every word, every hidden intention long before you ever questioned it. Do not let your heart become troubled. I am not revealing this to frighten you. I am revealing it because light always reaches what darkness tries to conceal. Have you noticed how your peace has been interrupted without explanation? Have you wondered why your confidence seemed to disappear on certain days even though nothing outwardly changed? Have you questioned why some opportunities suddenly lost their momentum at the very moment they seemed ready to bloom? You blamed yourself. You wondered whether your faith was too small. You questioned your own worth. But my child, there are moments when the burden you are carrying was never meant to belong to you. Stay here. Do not leave this message yet. Something much greater is about to unfold. I have watched every tear you hid from everyone else. I have heard prayers you whispered so quietly that even you thought no one noticed. I collected every hope you almost gave up on. Even when you believed heaven was silent, I was arranging pieces you could not yet see. There is a reason your journey has felt delayed. There is a reason certain relationships changed. There is a reason some people became strangely distant. Nothing escaped my attention. You keep asking why everything shifted so suddenly, but you have been looking for visible answers to invisible questions. Look beyond appearances. Not everyone who stands beside you walks in the same direction as you. Not everyone celebrating your victories celebrates them with a sincere heart. Sometimes people admire what I placed inside you while quietly wishing it belonged to them instead. Envy does not always announce itself. It often hides behind compliments. It hides behind laughter. It hides behind casual conversations. It hides behind ordinary moments that seem completely harmless. But remember this carefully. Their hidden feelings never become greater than my protection. Pause here in your heart. Take a slow breath. Continue listening. Because something remarkable is about to become clear. You have spent too much time wondering whether you were imagining things. Every time your spirit felt uneasy, your mind tried to explain it away. Every time you sensed distance, you convinced yourself you were overthinking. Every time something inside whispered, "Pay attention," you answered that whisper with doubt. Yet I formed your spirit to recognize more than your eyes can see. Discernment is not fear. Wisdom is not suspicion. Peace is not pretending everything is fine. There is a difference between living with anxiety and walking with awareness. I am teaching you that difference now. Think about the unexpected interruptions that happened recently. The plans that suddenly changed. The conversations that ended strangely. The opportunities that disappeared without explanation. The promises people made but never fulfilled. You believed they were random. They were not random. Every delay carried a lesson. Every closed door redirected your steps, every disappointment quietly protected you from something you could not yet understand. You only saw the ending of those moments. I saw what would have happened if they had continued. That is why you must trust me even when understanding comes later. Something else has been happening that you almost missed. Your heart has been changing. You are not the same person you were months ago. Your patience has grown. Your compassion has deepened. Your prayers have become more honest. Your dependence upon me has become stronger. You thought the season was only taking something away. In reality, it was building something inside you that success alone could never produce. That inner transformation has made you stronger than you realize. And that strength has begun to make certain hidden attitudes around you uncomfortable. Do not misunderstand me. This is not permission to judge anyone. This is not permission to become suspicious of everyone. This is not permission to respond with anger. I have never called you to live in fear. I have called you to walk in truth. There is a tremendous difference. The light does not panic because darkness exists. The light simply shines. That is who I have called you to become. Stay until the end. There is still something you need to hear. Long before today, I began preparing answers for questions you had not yet asked. I allowed certain situations to slow down because your future required different timing. You thought you were waiting. Actually, your future was waiting for the right version of you. Many blessings become dangerous when received too early. Many responsibilities become overwhelming without preparation. So while you believed heaven had forgotten you, heaven was preparing you. You kept counting delays. I kept counting growth. You counted disappointments. I counted victories that were invisible. You measured progress by what happened around you. I measured progress by what happened within you. And what has happened within you is extraordinary. You survived moments you thought would break you forever. You stood back up after disappointments no one else even knew about. You continued believing even when answers seemed distant. That faith has not gone unnoticed. Every quiet act of trust has become part of your testimony. But now another season is beginning. This next season requires clearer vision. Not louder emotions. Not stronger opinions. Clearer vision. Because not everything deserves your attention. Some distractions are designed simply to steal your focus. Some conversations exist only to drain your peace. Some opportunities glitter on the outside while leading nowhere meaningful. You do not need to chase everything. You only need to follow me. When you walk beside me, even hidden dangers lose their power. Even unseen opposition cannot stop what I have already planned. Even when someone misunderstands you. Even when someone quietly hopes you fail. Even when someone questions your character without speaking directly to you. My purpose remains untouched. No hidden opinion has authority over the destiny I prepared for you. No secret conversation can erase what I have written. No unseen plan can cancel my promise. Remember that. Hold on to it. Because very soon you will need those words. There is something else I want you to notice. Recently you have felt an unusual desire to protect your peace. You have become less interested in unnecessary arguments. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You wondered why. It is because I have been teaching your heart maturity. Not every misunderstanding deserves correction. Not every accusation deserves an answer. Sometimes silence is stronger than endless explanation. Sometimes walking away requires more courage than staying. Sometimes the greatest victory is refusing to carry offenses into tomorrow. This wisdom will become important sooner than you think. Keep listening. Do not skip this moment. There is another piece of the story you have not yet seen. Some people expected your kindness to disappear after disappointment. It did not. Some expected your faith to fade after unanswered prayers. It did not. Some expected your hope to collapse under pressure. It did not. That quiet endurance has revealed something remarkable. You are stronger than circumstances suggested. And because of that strength, your next chapter will not resemble your last one. Already I am opening paths you cannot yet recognize. Already I am arranging conversations you have not yet heard. Already I am moving hearts in ways invisible to you. Already I am preparing moments that will remind you I was working all along. But before those doors open, before those answers arrive, before those unexpected blessings become visible, there is one final truth you must understand. Someone has been watching your journey far more closely than you realize. Not because they understand your calling. Not because they celebrate your purpose. But because they cannot understand why, after everything you have faced, you continue moving forward. They expected you to stop. They expected discouragement to silence your faith. They expected disappointment to change your heart. Instead, they watched you become stronger. And what happens next will reveal far more than anyone expected. Because very soon, something hidden is about to come into the light. What is revealed will change the way you understand everything that has happened up to this moment. And when that moment arrives, you will finally understand why I asked you today to stop scrolling. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. Do not hurry past this moment, because the story is not finished. What seemed like scattered pieces are about to begin fitting together. You have walked through seasons that made no sense while you were living them, but heaven never lost sight of the complete picture. What you thought were disconnected moments were quietly becoming part of one greater design. There is something your heart has been trying to understand without even knowing the question. You sensed that certain situations felt unusually complicated. Conversations that should have been simple became confusing. Doors that once opened easily became strangely difficult. Relationships that once felt effortless suddenly required exhausting amounts of energy. You wondered if you had somehow changed. Yes, you have changed. But not in the way you imagined. You have grown closer to the purpose I planted within you, and growth often reveals what comfort once concealed. Listen carefully. When light becomes brighter, hidden shadows become easier to notice. The shadows were not created by the light. They were simply revealed because the light became stronger. In the same way, as your spirit has matured, you have begun recognizing things you once overlooked. Do not skip this moment. Something important is unfolding. There were times when I quietly redirected your steps, and you thought you had failed. You stood before closed doors asking why they would not open. You replayed conversations in your mind, wondering what you should have said differently. You questioned whether one mistake had changed everything. My child, many of those closed doors were not punishment. They were protection. You only saw the opportunity you lost. I saw the burden it would have placed upon your shoulders. You only saw the invitation that disappeared. I saw the disappointment waiting behind it. You only saw the path that ended. I saw the destination it would never have reached. That is why I ask you to trust me even before every answer becomes visible. There are moments when my greatest blessing is not giving you everything you ask for, but gently leading you somewhere better without announcing every reason in advance. Think back to the people who unexpectedly left your life. At first, you mourned the distance. You wondered what went wrong. You questioned whether you could have prevented it. But time slowly revealed something remarkable. Your peace began returning. Your confidence slowly grew stronger. Your joy became less dependent on other people's approval. Those changes did not happen by accident. Sometimes separation creates space for restoration. Sometimes silence becomes the place where your spirit finally hears my voice clearly. Stay until the end. The most important part has not yet arrived. There are conversations that have taken place beyond your awareness. There have been opinions shared about you that never reached your ears. There have been assumptions made by people who never truly knew your heart. Yet none of those conversations changed the truth I speak over your life. People may misunderstand your intentions. They may misinterpret your silence. They may create stories from incomplete information. But my opinion of you has never changed. Before anyone formed an opinion about your future, I already knew it. Before anyone questioned your value, I already called you precious. Before anyone doubted your purpose, I had already written it into your life. Do not measure yourself by temporary voices. Measure yourself by the one who created you. There is freedom in remembering that. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones you never placed there yourself. Every criticism, every disappointment, every unfair judgment became another weight upon your shoulders. After a while, you forgot what it felt like to walk freely. Today I am asking you to lay those stones down. You were never meant to carry every opinion spoken about you. You were never meant to defend yourself against every misunderstanding. You were never meant to chase acceptance from every person you meet. Some battles disappear the moment you stop carrying them. Some victories arrive the moment you choose peace instead of proving yourself. That is wisdom. And wisdom will guide your next season. Do not rush ahead. There is another truth waiting for you. You have prayed for visible signs. You asked me to make everything obvious. Yet sometimes the clearest sign is the quiet change happening inside your own heart. Notice how differently you respond now. Things that once disturbed your peace no longer control your emotions. Arguments that once consumed your attention now feel unnecessary. You have become slower to speak and quicker to seek understanding. That is not weakness. That is maturity growing quietly beneath the surface. And because your heart has changed, the opportunities coming toward you will also be different. You are no longer preparing for the chapter you thought you wanted. You are preparing for something greater than you imagined. Stay with me. Do not skip ahead. Something extraordinary is drawing near. There is someone whose expectations about your future were built upon the assumption that you would eventually become discouraged. They believed setbacks would slowly convince you to abandon your dreams. They assumed waiting would wear down your faith. But every day you continued moving forward, even slowly, you quietly proved those expectations wrong. You did not become perfect. You became persistent. You did not avoid every disappointment. You learned to keep walking through them. That quiet endurance has become part of your strength. And strength developed through faith is difficult for circumstances to shake. Remember this whenever uncertainty appears. Storms measure the roots of a tree, not merely its branches. The roots growing inside you are deeper than you realize. That is why you are still standing. That is why hope still whispers inside your heart. That is why your story is not ending where others expected it to end. Do not lose focus now. There is one more layer to understand. Sometimes you ask me to remove every challenge from your path. Instead, I teach your feet how to walk confidently through uncertain places. Sometimes you ask me to explain every mystery. Instead, I teach your heart how to trust before every answer arrives. Sometimes you ask me to change everyone around you. Instead, I quietly transform you first. Because transformed hearts change futures. That transformation has already begun. You may not recognize it every morning when you look in the mirror. But heaven sees it clearly. Your compassion has expanded. Your patience has deepened. Your wisdom has increased. Your dependence upon me has become stronger than it was before. These are victories that cannot always be measured by outward success. Yet they are among the greatest victories anyone can experience. Keep listening. The next part matters. Very soon you will notice something unexpected. A conversation will make more sense than it once did. A memory will suddenly fit into a larger picture. Something that once confused you will begin revealing its purpose. You will realize that what seemed random was actually preparation. When that moment comes, do not respond with bitterness. Respond with gratitude. Because understanding without peace becomes another burden. But understanding with peace becomes freedom. I am leading you toward freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from endless comparison. Freedom from carrying invisible burdens. Freedom from believing that every closed door means rejection. Freedom from needing every person to understand your journey. That freedom is closer than you think. Pause for just one more moment. Feel how your heart has become quieter than when this message began. That is not coincidence. My peace is gently reminding you that you are not walking through this season alone. Even now I am surrounding you with opportunities you have not yet seen. Even now I am arranging moments that will restore your confidence. Even now I am preparing encounters that will encourage your spirit. Even now I am opening paths that no human effort could create. Trust the process you cannot yet fully see. Because the next revelation will answer questions you have carried for far too long. And when the time is right, I will show you not only what was happening behind the scenes, but why I never allowed it to stop the beautiful future I have been preparing for you all along.